The Breakdown, Bristol Rugby's official podcast, powered by Sam FM.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the brand new Breakdown, Bristol Rugby's official podcast. It is back, and this time it is monthly, powered by Sam FM. Hello, it's Downsy here, and joining me in the studio for this inaugural podcast, the reigning top try scorer in the Premiership at 92, plus Bristol Rugby winger extraordinaire. Please welcome Mr. Tom Varndell! Punch in the sky. And with him, the new boy from the Emerald Isle. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, fresh from Bordeaux, it is Dublin-born Irish international, Mr. Ian Madigan! You know those people aren't here. That's just fake. Hello, welcome to the Sam FM studio. How are you, boys?
Very well, thank you.
Very good, thanks for having us in.
No, pleasure. So to come on this podcast, there is a head-to-head quiz. We bring ourselves up to speed with the Community Foundation activities too. Plus, we get to chat to you guys. Have you got some good stories to tell me?
Oh, loads. I don't know if we can actually say them on air, but I've got some good stories.
Still to come then, we're going to be doing the big chat with these boys. Delving questions on the way, Mr. Madigan. For example, things like, have you had experience of Pat Lam in opposition? I'd be thinking about that, please, if you would. Tommy, for you, things like, what's the atmosphere like at the club? These kind of cutting-edge journalistic questions.
Important stuff, that.
There you go.
The Breakdown.
All that's still to come, but first of all, time to check out this month's Big Five.
The Breakdown, Bristol Rugby's official podcast, powered by Sam FM.
And joining us now in the studio is none other than matchday announcer, Bristol Rugby fan for life, Mr. Slick. Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning, Downsy. Very kind of you to say so.
Now, how long have you been following Bristol Rugby for now?
I'm going to give my age away if I tell you the truth. Let's say over 30 years.
So let's go through some of the big five. That's what you're here to do on the podcast. And what have we got in at 5, Slick?
At 5, we've got the arrival next year of Charles Piatow. Now, Charles has had a couple of years in the UK. He played for Wasps last year, was in the team of the year in the Aviva Premiership, and now he's in Ulster for a year. He's been player of the year this year. We've got to wait for 12 months for him, but let's hope, fingers crossed, that we'll be in the Premiership by then, and he can be a star for us back in the Premiership in a Bristol shirt.
OK, number 4 then, Slick.
The fact that we have Hartpury on the opening day. Hartpury are coached by former Bristol coach John Barnes. They've got a sprinkling of former Bristol players in. I noticed Ian Grieve has arrived for them in the back row this season, but likes of Luke Eves and Wayne Thompson and even youngster Elias Caven, they're all playing for Hartpury this season. So 3rd of September at Ashton Gate should be quite a clash.
So that's a sort of new local derby, really, isn't it?
Yeah, they've done brilliantly, Hartpury. They have a college team that plays in the Bucks League, but they also have a professional team that they've built over the last 5 years or so, and they've done a brilliant job of coming up through the leagues and absolutely walked National 1 last year, won it by a street, and I think they're going to cause a few upsets this year.
Look forward to seeing you there, Slick. You'll be there with a microphone, of course, on the opening day. On to the top 3 things that we've been talking about this last month.
Well, I mentioned at the top, at number 5, the fact that there's a sprinkling of youth coming through. We've got some players coming into the academy from outside, but as ever, Bristol's academy system is brilliant, and we're bringing players through all the time, and there's always one or two that emerge from absolutely nowhere. And this year, younger, I think, than any player that I've ever seen emerge from the academy is Charlie Powell. Now, Charlie is just 17. He's in his last year at Bristol Grammar School, and he's played a couple of pre-season friendlies against the team down... I nearly said that word. The team down the road. And he had an absolutely fantastic day. He fed Tom Varndell for his try, and he really looked impressive, even at the age of 17.
I saw him talking on Twitter, and he was just saying that, he's had this absolutely incredible and amazing summer with Bristol Rugby, and now he's got to go back to school.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I mean, I think he said, didn't he, that his mates have been going, right, you're coming out tonight, Charlie. He goes, sorry, rugby. How about tomorrow? Sorry, rugby. How about the day after? Sorry, rugby. But when he's got the chance, he's got to take it with both hands, hasn't he?
Damn right. OK, into the top 2. What's our second biggest talking point this month, Slick?
Well, I think the big players who are coming in, who are going to be the glue in the Bristol team for this year, the likes of Stephen Luatua, he only arrived in the last week or so. What a kerfuffle about him arriving. It's going to be he's going to make such a difference in that pack, be a calming, as I say, gluing presence. And then the likes of Ian Madigan coming in, he will be the fulcrum around the backs. He will be pulling the strings as ever at number 10, and he's got the likes of Alapati Leua in the centre outside him. So some really exciting, experienced players who are going to bring these less experienced players around them on, and hopefully help nurture Bristol for years to come.
Okay, and finally, the big number one spot this month's talking points in our Big Five, Slick, is
the big man, Mr. Pat Lamb. What a difference this man has made to Bristol Rugby, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Just his presence. When you walk into a room, you can just he's got a bit of an aura about him, hasn't he?
He's got an aura, but he's also got that calmness, that confidence, that knowledge. I went to the Q&A session at Ashton Gate a couple of weeks back. He talked with so much warmth, so much welcoming spirit. Each of the main coaches was there. They all were able to contribute, but Pat was, I used the phrase earlier on, he was the glue that kind of binds it all together and means everybody feels part of the Bristol Rugby culture.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's what he said to me, and I think that is a really good one. Good stuff. All right, Slick, well, there's our Big Five for this month's podcast. Of course, Slick is at Ashton Gate on every match day, and if people want to get in touch with you, Slick, for those birthday mentions and dedications,
I'm on Twitter at Slick Bristol.
Excellent stuff. And are you going on holiday at all this season?
No holiday. No. I might dangle a carrot and let you do one or two, as long as you promise to do it, to the suitable stuff.
Of course, man. Look forward to it. Slick, thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure, mate.
Questions we ask everyone. Name.
Will Hurrell's.
Occupation.
Centre.
What is your proudest sporting moment?
Coming out at Twickenham last season for the opener against Harlequins was incredible. Packed stadium, doubleheader, Saracens played before us, and should have took the win, but definitely my proudest so far. Whose life would you like to live for a day? President of the United States.
Who's your sporting hero?
Got to be Johnny Wilkinson for me. He just epitomises the ultimate professional in rugby, so definitely him.
What's your karaoke song?
Whole New World, Aladdin.
What is your most treasured possession?
I've just got a new car, so might have to say the new car.
What is your most embarrassing sporting moment?
Definitely last season against Gloucester, when Billy Twelvetrees managed to pull not just my shorts down but my pants as well.
If we came for dinner, what would you cook us?
Chicken treats or risotto.
If you weren't a sportsman, what would you be?
Probably own my own business, I think.
What is your number one pet hate?
Messy people.
What is the best thing about Bristol Rugby?
Probably the boys, when we all get together, spend a lot of time together, get on really well with them.
10 questions we ask everyone. Sam FM.
Well, here we are back at the studios of Sam FM. The breakdown is back. It is Bristol Rugby's official podcast, powered by Sam FM. I am here with Tom Varndell and Ian Madigan, and a pleasure to be with you guys. In all seriousness, I have to say that I don't get nervous doing celebrity interviews like people we've had in recently, but today I'm slightly nervous. This is like rugby royalty right here in the studio, and there's a couple of people outside that sneakily said to me, "Would you mind if I ask for a selfie with Tom and Ian later?" So there's fans outside. How are you feeling about doing some selfies later? Is that all right?
Oh, I love a selfie.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, it's fine.
I still get starstruck seeing Tom every morning.
Do you know what? I was going to say the same. I'm like that. Every day is a privilege.
Yeah, I'm so lucky.
So let's start at the very beginning. Obviously, last season a disappointment. So new page now, and we start again. This is obviously a continuation for you, Tom. So so let's talk about the atmosphere in the camp now and where we're at the moment.
To be fair, it's really good. New coaches, new players have come in, and the atmosphere is really good. Pat's come in with new philosophy, new way of playing, brought a massive positive energy. The new players have come in as well who have not experienced Bristol before. Been a lot of new boys, and it's been massive for us. We've definitely pushed on, and we're really excited now for the start of the season.
And Ian, have you got sort of past experience of Pat? I mean, obviously, he's a massive name. What did you know of him before you came to Bristol Rugby?
Yeah, I knew Pat well before I came here. Obviously, from talking to the Connacht players in the Irish setup, and obviously playing for Leinster against Connacht over the last 3 or 4 years before I joined Bordeaux. I knew how well drilled he had his teams. They always played with a really high skill level, and they were very hard to break down when we were attacking against them. The last time I played against Connacht, it was like a gale force wind, and we were playing against the wind in the first half, and I was like only 6-3 at half time. I remember thinking, oh, jackpot, like we'll win this game easy, like we're going to have the wind behind our back second half. And we went out second half, and Connacht were just able to hold the ball and just kept doing these little tip-on passes, clever passes out the back, and we just couldn't get our hands back on the ball. And the game literally finished 9-6 and we lost. And it was just testament to the skill work that Pat does with his teams, and how well drilled he has everyone in the shape that he wants the team to go out and execute. And it worked for him that day.
He just has a certain aura about him, doesn't he? As soon as he walks into the room, I remember the first time he addressed the press, and all of a sudden I just felt like, the bromance for Pat Lam started almost immediately, because he sort of makes you feel at ease, doesn't he, to start with?
Definitely, and that's one of the first things you notice. When he does address the team, he's very personable. He wants to involve everybody. He wants everyone to be on the same page and put in the right direction, and he's massive about culture, and already 6 weeks in, he's starting to build a really amazing culture at the team within the squad, and that's what it's all about. You want to play for your friends, you want to play for your family, you want everyone to be that one big family, and that's what Pat's all about.
And what made you make the decision, Ian, to come to Bristol? Was Pat part of that process?
Yeah, Pat was a big reason. I knew from talking to the guys who had him in Connacht, what a good programme he ran, and I was just really, really excited about getting involved in helping him execute that on the field. So he was a big reason to come, but also it's a small bit closer to home, and of course there's an incredible winger.
Did you two know each other before quite well then, or not?
It feels like we did.
Well, yeah, it feels like I've known him all my life. It's amazing.
So Dublin boy, you've lived in Bordeaux, now in Bristol, you've been here for a little while. How does it kind of shape up to other places you lived?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm over here with my girlfriend Anna, and she's settling in really well. She's just got a job with the club doing the advertising and marketing, so she's really excited. She started that on Monday, so the fact that she's settled in well has made it really easy. Having guys like Tom here, help me settle in outside of the facility, going out for coffee and bite to eat and a bit of crazy golf up in Cabot Circus. So no, it's been really enjoyable, and any of the rugby supporters I've met out and about, they're really excited about the upcoming season, and I'm just really looking forward to getting out there and performing in front of them.
The Bordeaux situation, let's talk about that just for a bit. And did you learn any French swear words?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't have to use them too often. The French know the English swear words pretty well, so if you're trying to get a point across, the English ones work. But no, I know a few French swear words. All right, when you're getting them said to you, you learn them pretty quickly.
And is language a barrier? Kind of. I mean, you say that lots of them spoke English. I always feel a bit like a Brit abroad when I go, "Hello, one beer, please," and they speak perfect English back to you. Is it a bit like that?
No, I actually learned French to a reasonably high level before I went over. So for about 6 months I got grinds back in Dublin, and then once I had a kind of reasonably good level going over, you're able to learn much easier then, whereas if you go over with nothing, it's very hard to pick it up. That was one of the easier things I found, was learning the language, whereas adapting to their different style of training was definitely a harder part.
Oui. Quelle heure est-il?
Maintenant c'est 14h15.
That's very good. He actually did learn it. That's very good. That's where my French ends, I'm afraid. That's it. There's no more from me. Au revoir. Now then, the up and coming season, we've talked a little bit about pre-season being very hard, and the excitement now for what is upcoming. What personal preparations do we go through? Let's start with you, Mr. Madigan. So we're in the changing room, we're about to go out for the game. What are your sort of pre-rituals before you get out there?
I have quite a few. I like to get into the changing room good and early before the game, and I like to lay out all my stuff. So once that's done, I have a quick read of the programme, and then spend a small bit of time just going over the game plan for the day. And sometimes I put 1 or 2 notes on my wrist that I might use as cues during the game, and then get out maybe about an hour before kickoff and start practicing my goal kicking before I get involved with the team warm-up.
I'm just going to write down fairly high maintenance. But that's quite a lot to do, isn't it?
There is, yeah. It's about a 2-hour process.
And as far as the kind of camaraderie is concerned within that, the culture is obviously helping that. Let's talk about sort of what you get up to away from the field. Do you socialise with each other much? I mean, obviously you two do, and sort of in a bit of a bromance, but like the rest of the squad, who hangs out with each other? Do you go off and do activities, that kind of stuff?
What's been quite nice if we've Pat's made these mini teams within the team, so there's been change room teams, and then you've sort of gone off and we've done different activities as a changing room. Like Mads' change room did the golf. We've gone for like coffees and some food in my changing room, and that's been quite nice. So it helps everyone get to know each other as well.
What do you play off golf wise?
9.
I play off a tee. Oh goodness!
Don't laugh at that. Do not laugh at that.
That's so bad. You have to laugh.
Oh, God.
He's done it.
And aside from all the rugby stuff, let's how do you relax?
A bit like Mads, like cinema. I do like going shooting when I get a bit of time. But yeah, I'm very chilled.
Good stuff.
Just like to switch off from rugby.
Yeah, that's important. I do that. I do that even during rugby interviews, as you can tell. Very good. Okay, we could talk all day here. Obviously, we can just feel that bromance forming here. I think it's going to be something that we'll keep an eye on as the season goes on. Thank you so much for chatting to us. More still to come on the podcast, but for now, Tom, Ian, thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks for having us in.
The Breakdown, Bristol Rugby's official podcast, powered by Sam FM.
Right, it's time to test the knowledge of two of our players now in our head-to-head quiz. We recorded this at the Balloon Fiesta back in August, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't go so well the first time around.
Bing! Brown.
Yes, but who? Who's the famous Bristolian? No. This famous Bristol City fan always had a cunning plan. No. Skipping Tony Benn. Never get that one. Robin Cousins. Not so much. Very tall. Often found with Ricky Gervais. No. We got nothing, have we? We got absolutely nothing here.
We are only 21 years old. Did you know that?
Well, it's been a great quiz. Thanks, everyone. Well, we'll keep going and see what happens. Now, she lives in Bristol. She's not actually Bristolian, but she's very good with numbers, and she's a bit of a loose woman. Yes.
Karen Vorderman.
Karen Vorderman.
These quizzes are ridiculous.
So we made the questions slightly easier and did it again. Welcome back to the Balloon Fiesta Arena, where we are joined by our first contestants in our podcast head-to-head quiz. Right, on my left, your name, sir, and what position do you play?
Andy Uren, and I play scrum half.
And you are taking on, sir?
George Perkins, wing.
Okay, all right, so it's Andy versus George. Now, we need some buzzers here, so we know who's buzzing in. So, Uren, what is your buzzer going to be?
Just a clap.
Clapping, okay. There's jokes there, I'm moving on. Perkins, your buzzer is? Ding. A ding, okay. On we go. First of all, can you name a shopping centre in Bristol? That was Uren.
Asda.
A shopping centre. Perkins.
Cribs Causeway.
Cribs Causeway, I'll accept. 1-0 to the Perkins. Can anybody name a famous ship from Bristol? Uren.
SS Great Britain.
Yes, 1-1. Goodness me, now we are cooking on gas. Which very tall building will you find opposite the council house?
Ding.
Yes? Cathedral, yes, very good.
Well, there was one, but
2-1. You're learning all sorts here.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in Bristol?
So 2 months.
2 months. How long have you lived in Bristol, Andy?
21 years.
Very good. Okie dokie. I was completed in 1925. I am 66 metres high. My tower houses a 10-ton bell called Great George, and I can be found at the top of Park Street. I am the...
I know what it is, but I don't. Wills Cathedral.
Wills Memorial Building. We'll give him that. We'll give him that. Okay. Please, can you name the other Wallace and...
Ding.
Oh, that was your end.
Grommet.
Very good. True or false? Ribena was invented in Bristol.
Ding.
False. No, it's true. Oh no, that is unfortunate for you. Very good. Which ground do Bristol Rovers play at?
Memorial Ground.
The Memorial Ground. Very good. Which was once home to?
Bristol Rugby.
He's walking all over you now, Perkins, isn't he?
Yes.
Where are you from?
From Essex originally.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get to a situation. We've done all right. The best radio station in Bristol is...
Ding.
Yeah.
BBC Bristol.
Oh, the winner's Andy Uren, everybody! Very good. Well done, boys. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Thanks.
This is The Breakdown.
Now, earlier on in the summer, all of the boys headed down to Millennium Square in Bristol to do a litter pick to celebrate Nelson Mandela Day. And, of course, the Breakdown microphones were there. Now, if there's one person that I'm going to vie for the best T-shirt tan, look at that.
Yeah, good point.
How'd you manage that?
Cheapers. Just continuous training in short sleeve shirts, training jerseys while it's been really hot. Weather's been lovely, hasn't it?
Yeah, man, it's been great. Now, tell us, today is obviously a very special day, and you've led from the front here for the Honourable Nelson Mandela Day. He would have been 99 today, and what a gentleman.
Yeah, he was. What an absolute gentleman. And I think he had such a massive impact on so many people's lives, and what a way to honour him, and it's fallen nicely in line with the Clean Streets campaign. So what a perfect way to kick off our sort of community efforts, this season.
Mr. Madigan, this is not the way I thought we'd do our first interview with you doing a litter pick in Bristol, but what a way to kick off your community involvement here.
Yeah, it's great to get out and get involved and meet a few of the Bristol supporters along the way and keep the city clean and encourage other people not to litter and just feel a bit of pride about their hometown.
Now, Mr. Jeffries, you are the bag man here. How's it all going so far?
0 litter so far. I mean, Millennium Square is quite spotless, so it's not too bad, to be honest, but imagine we get around the corner we might find a bit.
Wally, as far as the journey ahead of us is concerned, what have you got in the tank for this year?
Well, I don't know, lots of good things, I hope. Obviously disappointed him last year. We've got a very good team this year. A lot of great boys come in, a lot of great boys kept from last year, and sort of Pat's come in and stamped his authority straight away. Boys are buying into the culture and his way of playing. It's shaping up to be a brilliant year.
Jock is getting very involved here. Now, you have specifically seeked out some litter there, didn't you?
Well, yeah, we managed to pick a pretty clean part of Bristol, so I think everyone's looking for a bit. There's still a bit of work to do.
Now then, this is kind of the new ethos, isn't it, at Bristol Rugby? We're hearing a lot about culture and a lot about community from the new boss, so hopefully bringing the team together.
Yeah, definitely. Pat's quite big on that, promoting a good culture within the team, but there's also with the city itself. Bristol's a great place to live, and it'd be nice to give back to that as a group. Right,
job done, Mr. Hurrell. How was that for you?
Ideal.
It was good fun.
It was, yeah.
Getting down here and doing some litter picking for the mayor today is a great way to do that and inspire, and look at all these kids watching you and setting a great example.
Yeah, of course, and that's what it's about. We want to inspire our community. That's our motto, and that's what we set out to do.
The Breakdown.
Well, brand new editions of the podcast are going to be available monthly moving forward, so make sure you check the Bristol Rugby or Sam FM websites for details, or you can subscribe directly via iTunes, meaning the Breakdown will be downloaded to your selected device as soon as it's available. Go and check it out now. First of all, though, it's time to spend a morning at training with Ryan Bevington.
The Breakdown goes behind the scenes.
Yes, 7:29, walking into training. I'm just getting in. Don't start till 8 o'clock really, but just getting in early, get myself prepared, get my stuff together and get ready. Just did all my morning monitoring, 7:38, done all that. Weight's okay today, 114 kilos, so fine. That didn't eat too much last night, shouldn't eat for a prop, don't need to be fat. And then just stiffness general, touch base with physios and conditioners, let them know how you're feeling for the day to make sure you're good to train. It's now 7:58, just finished P2P, basically yoga, stretching, monkeys trying to stretch. Finished, now we have a meeting, talk about our programme, what we're going to do in the gym, and then start 8 o'clock. So walking to the gym, you got Bruce in the gym, you got JT, and you got Connor doing some weights. Right, boys, so already comment on you all looking big in the gym, lifting some weights. Hey, Vog, you're right. Good, mate. Good to see you, okay? You got Ollie Dawes on the floor stretching, Gaston Cortez, a big George. Hi, George.
How you doing? You good?
So we've got to say hello, shake each other's hands. It's now 8:47, just about to have a apple and banana before my skills slot at 9 o'clock. We do 20-minute block of skills, handling basic drills, so just finish weights. Put boots on and get out onto the 3G and get going. It's 9:28, just finished the skills, just got into the changing rooms, about to go get my protein shake, and the team announcement is 9:35. Just had my body fat down with a pet nutritionist, now walking into the forwards meeting for 10 o'clock. 11:53, just got off the pitch from forwards units, watched the boys go through lineouts and scrums, then into live lineouts and scrums ready for the Connacht week. And then I just did a bit of scrum setup stuff just after my knee surgery and getting back into it with Mark Ira. Well, that's it for today. Just off for lunch now, and then we're off to Clifton College this evening for some team bonding, team building activities that's off limits. So from me, it's Bevington out. Until next time, we'll talk again. Cheers now.
This is The Breakdown.
And there we are. We have come to the end of the first podcast of the series. Gentlemen, you've been wonderful. Have you done this before? Have you done podcasting before?
I haven't actually done podcasting before, no. I've done a bit of radio, but not a podcast.
Yeah. Maybe we could get our own show, Tom.
I was about to say that.
Maybe an all-sports show.
Oh, my God.
We could come in on a Monday together.
Yeah.
Together.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should. We'll talk about it after.
Do you need an agent? I'm happy to take 25%.
We can talk about that as well.
That's 25% to zero.
Very good. Right, subscribe, go and tell all your friends, and there'll be another podcast in a month's time. But for the meantime, from Mr. Tom Varndell, Mr. Ian Madigan, and me, Mr. Ian Downs from Sam FM, thank you very much. Goodbye!
Brilliant.
Nice.
Thank you very much, John.
Lovely.
That was wonderful.
The Breakdown, Bristol Rugby's official podcast, powered by Sam FM.